In 1997, U2 released their 9th studio album, Pop. Pop continued the experimentation they had begun with their underground album, Original Soundtracks 1, which was released under the band pseudonym of Passengers in collaboration with famous sound artist Brian Eno. Despite being much darker than its title would suggest, Pop debuted at #1 in 35 countries and drew mainly positive reviews. Launching the glossy Pop Mart tour, Bono was aware that some of the fans might find it a bit strange that U2, a band celebrated for its political activism, was opening in arguably the tackiest and most commercial city in the world, Las Vegas.
You know, some people might be a bit confused about what we're doing, what exactly are we playing at? And, you know, isn't rock and roll about, you know, playing in the garage and, you know, and sneakers and, you know, torn jeans? And of course, we came out of a garage in Dublin, Ireland. That's where we came from. But we didn't want to stay in it.
Critics and fans were divided on the album's merits. U2 was forced to admit that they were hurried into releasing the album because of the impending tour dates, and Bono himself suggested that Pop didn't communicate the way it was intended to. With the arrival of the 21st century, U2 declared more than once that they were reapplying for the job of the best band in the world. From the year 2000, the band returned to what many saw as their roots with their release of All That You Can't Leave Behind, which Rolling Stone magazine called their third masterpiece. The worldwide hit Beautiful Day earned 3 Grammy Awards. The accompanying live gigs got down to basics after nearly a decade of stadium concerts. The smaller, more intimate shows reconnected fans with their band. After All That You Can't Leave Behind came How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, released in November 2004, a much harder-hitting album. Proving they could keep up with the march of technology just as well as their younger counterparts, they released the single Vertigo in tandem with a special edition U2 iPod and iTunes box set. The album proved to be one of Bono's favourites.
This is actually our first album. It's taken us 20 years or whatever it is, but this is our first album. And Vertigo is the first single from our first album. And oddly enough, in that spirit, there's a quote from our very first single. We had 3 songs on our first single. We were like 17, 18 years old. Out of Control, Boy, Girl, and a song called Stories for Boys. And in Stories for Boys, there's this Vertigo-like line.
Certainly, the album was massively popular. Sales in the US in the first week alone were double that of All That You Can't Leave Behind and set a record for the band. The edge is in no doubt as to what makes the unique U2 sound work.
Writing a rock and roll song, it has to be a guitar, you know, because rock and roll is about the guitar. It's about guitar riffs. It's about that kind of energy that you get from hitting the big E chord, you know, when you've got the amp turned up full, and there's no way you can get to that kind of feeling with another instrument.
Once Bono writes a song, he believes it no longer belongs to him, but to the audience.
You know, when people are screaming and roaring and shouting, you know, the humbling thing is to realize it's not really for the band, or for any band, or any artist on the stage. It's for their connection with those songs. People, including myself, you know, a song just can own you at a time in your life, or something you've been through. And I think that's why concerts are so powerful, because if that song was such a part of your life, and you hear it, it's too much almost.